The trial begins. The arena was silent for a moment. Thousands of alien eyes watched from above, their glowing faces filled with excitement and amusement. Banners floated in the air showing the symbol of the Traxxas Empire, a snake wrapped around a broken planet. A large metal gate opened and a single human stepped into the bright arena floor. His name was Kai. He wore no armor, only a plain black shirt and dark cargo pants. No weapons, no gadgets, just a calm face and steady steps. General Zura watched from her throne above the arena. She leaned forward, her purple eyes narrowing. "This is the human," she scoffed. "This is their champion?" Next to her, an officer laughed. "He doesn't even carry a blade. Weak species. This will be over in seconds." Kai looked up. He could hear everything. The arena's sound field let the fighters hear the council. It was meant to humiliate, to break spirit. Kai just smiled. The opposite gate opened with a deep growl. A massive alien stepped out, 8 feet tall, 4 arms, skin like thick stone. This was the current champion of the Traxxas trial, undefeated for 6 cycles. The crowd roared. Bets were placed. Drinks spilled. Zura stood up and pointed. "Begin the trial." The champion roared and charged. Kai didn't move. In his right hand he held something small. It looked like a tool, not a weapon, maybe a scanner, maybe a communicator. Zura saw it and laughed loudly. "That's not a weapon," she scoffed. Kai calmly dropped it to the sand. It bounced once. "I need a real challenge," he said softly. And then he moved, so fast. The champion swung with all 4 arms, a storm of muscle and rage. But Kai ducked under one strike, twisted past the second and jumped high, using the creature's own arm as a stepping stone. The crowd gasped. Kai landed on the champion's back, pressed his palm to the neck joint, and jumped off again. A beep. The champion froze, then fell. The sand shook under its weight. Zura stood in disbelief. "What? What did he do?" she snapped. The officer replayed the footage. Zoomed in. Kai had placed a thin chip under the skin, right in the control nerve cluster. A human-made device. Silent, small, but enough to shut the nervous system down for 5 minutes. Non-lethal. Zura's eyes burned with anger. Kai stood in the center of the arena, brushing dust from his shirt. "You said this was a trial," he called out. "That wasn't a test, that was a show." The crowd went silent. This human wasn't afraid. He didn't even kill. He wanted more. Zura forced a smile. "Very well. You pass round 1, but round 2 will not be so kind." Kai nodded. "Good. Maybe then I won't feel bored." As he walked back to his holding cell, the camera zoomed in on his face. Calm, focused, dangerous. Behind the arena walls, alien commanders whispered to each other. "How is this possible? Humans are still new to the Union. They hid their strength. We never should have let them in. He's just one man," another said. "And yet," one replied, "he makes us all nervous." In a dark room high above the council chambers, another figure watched the recording. Its skin was silver, its eyes machine blue. It was not Traxxas. It was not human. It was watching and smiling. The trial had begun. But it was not just a game. It was a warning. He's just a human. Right? The room was cold. Deep under the arena, stone walls hummed with hidden energy. Kai sat alone in the center of his holding cell. No chains, no guards, just silence, and the distant echo of the crowd above. He had closed his eyes, but he was not sleeping. He was remembering. Flashes of fire. Soldiers falling. The sound of breathing masks. The last mission. The last stand. Earth's secret war. Long before they joined the Galactic Union. He opened his eyes. Footsteps. A guard entered, but didn't speak. Just stared at him from behind a force shield. Kai didn't move. The silence became heavier. Finally, the guard muttered, "What are you?" Kai just smiled. Meanwhile, high above, General Zura paced across the war chamber floor. Behind her, multiple alien species argued in harsh whispers. The room was filled with commanders, diplomats, and scientists. All of them had watched the trial replay more than 10 times. He didn't use a weapon, one officer said. He used knowledge, another added. Nerve point targeting, prediction movement, human combat logic. That device he dropped wasn't a weapon either, said a Traxxas technician. Just a distraction. Zura slammed her fist against the table. He embarrassed us. An older alien, one with silver horns and a deep voice, leaned forward. What if the humans let us think they were weak? Silence. Zura turned. You mean they've been hiding their strength? Not hiding, he replied. Just waiting. A younger alien laughed. He's just one human. The silver-horned general raised a claw. One human, who took down our champion without killing, who turned our arena into a message. That is not weakness. That is control. Back in the arena city, the crowd had not stopped talking. Across alien channels, Kai's fight had gone viral. Some called him the Calm Blade. Others called him Death Without War. Some were afraid, some were excited, a few were inspired. In the dark corners of the Traxxas Empire, small groups began whispering, if one human can do that, what can their armies do? Later that night, a shadow appeared outside Kai's cell. This time it wasn't a guard. It was a visitor. A tall figure stepped through the shadows. Her skin was smooth and golden, eyes glowed with blue circuits, an artificial being, a sentient AI. Her voice was soft, but carried power. Kai of Earth. He looked up. You're not Traxxas. Correct, I am from the Drift. She paused. I came to observe you. Curious machine? No, she said. Concerned. You disrupted the balance today. The Traxxas Empire has ruled this sector for centuries, but now you've shown them fear. Kai stood. I didn't come to start fear. I came to finish lies. She tilted her head. Then why did you not kill? Kai's eyes darkened. Because I want them to see me again, and still not know how to stop me. The AI's systems blinked. For a moment she looked, almost impressed. They're planning round 2. 3 fighters, all lethal. No rules. Good, Kai said. Maybe this time I'll actually break a sweat. Elsewhere, Zura met with her private war council. The arena was just a distraction. In truth, she was testing human limits. Not just for sport, but for war. She activated a secret holomap showing Earth's colonies. If humans are truly a threat, we must strike first. A young strategist hesitated. But the Galactic Union protects them now. Zura's eyes flashed with rage. Then we will break the Union. They were already preparing weapons never used before. Biological traps, psychic, interference, even ancient void creatures. We don't need to understand the human, she said coldly. We just need to crush him. The next day, the arena was louder than ever. 3 gates opened. From each came a different beast. The first, a liquid, assassin, fast and invisible. The second, a 4-legged hunter with acid breath. The third, a mind breaker, trained to invade thoughts. Kai stepped onto the sand. No weapon again. The crowd was wild. Zura leaned forward, smiling. This time, he dies, but Kai stood tall and whispered to himself, round 2, let's dance. What did Earth build? Blood hit the sand. But it wasn't Kai's. The arena lights blinked. Smoke curled upward. 3 alien beasts lay defeated. Kai stood in the middle. Calm again. No scars, no wounds. The liquid assassin had tried to cloak, but Kai had sensed it, moved before it did, snapped its neck midair. The hunter had charged with acid breath, but Kai had led it toward the wall, causing it to burn itself with its own spray. The mind breaker had screamed in pain. It tried to invade Kai's thoughts, but what it found inside him made it panic. It had collapsed, shaking. And Kai hadn't even broken a sweat. High above, the silence was heavier than ever. Zura couldn't speak. Her hands clenched the railing. Her own people looked at her not with pride, but with fear. Kai looked up at her and gave a small wave, mocking her. Far away on the edge of the galaxy, in a cold, dark room lit by blue lights, a secret meeting was taking place. 12 alien species sat around a circular table. No names were spoken. They all wore black. They were the hidden leaders, the architects of galactic peace. And they were terrified. He was supposed to die, one voice said. We studied humans. They were nothing, another added. Then what is this, Kai? Someone asked. A pause, and then a voice from the shadows spoke, slow and deep. This is something we didn't plan for. The Traxxas homeworld, underground base, deep beneath the arena, Zura stormed into the science chamber. What did Earth build? She shouted. Screens showed data, slowed footage, Kai's body movements, reaction time, strike patterns, brainwave scans. A scientist turned, trembling. His muscles react before his nerves fire. His reflexes break our measurement tools. Another added, his body heals micro-tears before they finish tearing. He doesn't think like other humans. Zura slammed her fist down. Then what is he? They were silent, until one whispered, he is not a soldier. He is a weapon. Meanwhile, in Kai's cell, Kai sat alone, his shirt torn at the shoulder. Under the cloth, a symbol was burned into his skin, a unit code. Secret, erased from Earth, records.Project Revenant. He thought back again, training in the dark, injected with nanites, tested in cold zero-gravity chambers, told to forget pain, told to forget fear. Only one rule: survive. Earth had once begged the galaxy to accept them, to protect them, but behind the scenes, Earth was preparing for something else, not to be protected, but to dominate when the time was right. Kai wasn't the only one, but he was the first to be revealed. Elsewhere, the AI woman from the drift watched from her ship. She was replaying Kai's fight on loop, frame by frame. She didn't blink, she didn't breathe, but even she felt something close to awe. Her assistant entered. He should not be able to move like that. He doesn't, she said. He moves faster. She paused, the footage on Kai's eyes. His pupils shift before the attack even starts, as if he sees time differently. That's impossible. So is defeating a mindbreaker with thought alone. The AI leaned back. Something has changed, and the galaxy isn't ready. The Galactic Union, emergency session ambassadors screamed over each other. Chaos. Fear. Earth must be sanctioned. This human is a violation of the biological combat laws. They hid their military development. Only one voice remained calm. A human ambassador stood slowly. We hid nothing, she said. You just never looked closely. She smiled. Slightly, we asked for peace. You laughed at us. Now one of ours stands alone in your arena and your empires tremble. Back at the arena, Kai is summoned again. But something is different this time. No crowd. No lights. No cheers. The arena is dark. Cold. He walks out. In front of him stands not a fighter, but a machine. Huge. Ancient. Metal from before the recorded. Galaxy, not legal, not fair, not alive. Kai looks at it, then looks at the shadowy figures behind the walls. You're scared, he says. The machine charges. Kai smiles. Good. Round 2. No mercy. The arena was quiet. Not the silence of peace, but the silence before a storm. No audience today. No cheers, no banners, just metal walls. Cold wind. And a giant machine standing still in the center of the sand. Kai stepped forward, barefoot. He stared at the machine. It was ancient, older than the Traxxas Empire. Its surface was marked with languages no one spoke anymore. Red lights glowed from its chest, 4 arms, spinning blades, mounted cannons, a pulse core in its spine. It was not a gladiator. It was a war relic. a killing engine built before galactic law was written. High above, behind dark glass, Zura stood with her commanders. No smiles today, no pride, only fear. Are we really using this? Her second-in-command asked. If we don't destroy him now, we'll never control Earth, she whispered. And if he survives? She didn't answer. Back in the arena. The machine activated. Each footstep shook the ground. Sand exploded beneath. Energy screamed from its arms. Kai didn't move. The first blast came fast. An energy wave meant to melt through starship hulls. Kai jumped. Not away. Into the blast. At the last second, he twisted, riding the shockwave up and over the machine's head. He landed behind it, already moving. The machine turned, slower. Kai ran, sliding under a plasma blade, grabbing a stone from the ground and hurling it at the core. The stone bounced off. No damage. Thought so, he said. Your old tech, strong, but stupid. The machine launched spikes. 3 hit Kai. Blood hit the sand, but he stayed standing. Inside his body, the nanites woke. They stitched his flesh, pushed out the metal, forced his blood to clean itself. Pain shot through him like lightning. Kai screamed, but not in fear, in focus. In a hidden room deep beneath the arena, the AI woman watched through secret cameras. They're cheating, her assistant said. She nodded, but he knew they would. How can he win? The AI's voice dropped to a whisper. He's not trying to win. He's trying to teach them what they started. Kai roared. He launched himself at the machine. This time, he wasn't just dodging. He was attacking. He climbed its back like a shadow, dodging electric pulses leaping between moving blades. He reached the top and slammed both fists into the machine's eye socket. Metal cracked. The machine spun, trying to shake him off. Kai was thrown into a wall. He hit hard. Bones broke. He stood again, grinning through blood. No mercy, right? He whispered. The machine charged. Kai reached into his belt. Not a weapon, a coin. He pressed it against the ground. It beeped once, and from beneath the arena a signal rose, activating something older than the arena itself. The sand began to fall. The floor broke apart, and the machine fell into a black hole beneath the arena floor. Trap Kai had mapped the arena hours ago. He knew where the old maintenance vents were. He let the machine fall. It screamed in data tones as it vanished into the dark. Kai stood over the broken floor, chest heaving. Zura's voice boomed through the speakers. You think you've won? Kai looked up. No, he said. I think you've exposed yourselves. Moments later, emergency sirens rang across the capital. Alien news channels exploded with leaks. The fight had been recorded. The illegal use of ancient tech was now public. Galactic law was broken. Zura's empire stood on the edge of collapse. But, inside the chaos, someone else watched. A figure in silver armor. Not Traxxas. Not Union. Unknown. It whispered to itself in an old Earth dialect. Phase 1 complete. Kai held the line. Then it vanished into the stars. In Kai's cell, the AI appeared again, this time in full form. She sat beside him as he healed. Why didn't you kill it with your full strength? Kai looked at her. Because I'm still saving that. For who? His eyes darkened. For the real enemy. The one watching from the shadows. Do you know who they are? Kai nodded once. I do now. In deep space, a message was sent. Not to Traxxas, not to the Union, to Earth. It was short, only 5 words. Kai has made first contact. And far beneath the oceans of Earth, in a city not listed on any map, the reply came. Prepare the others. Zura's plan rain fell across the surface of Traxxas Prime. Not natural rain. Chemical ash from the burning reactors beneath the capital. Black water that smelled like old iron. General Zura stood on a high tower, watching her empire flicker below. The trial had failed. Kai had survived again, and worse, he had exposed her. Reports were coming in. Riots. Council members calling for investigation. Trade partners pulling back. But Zura, was not done yet. Inside her private war room, maps glowed. Targets blinked. 6 alien officers stood in silence as Zura approached the table. "We underestimated them," she said. No one replied. "I fought humans once before," she continued. "Long ago, before they joined the Union. On a frozen moon called Synthar," an officer raised a brow. "The Synthar massacre? That was a pirate war." Zura shook her head slowly. "No, it was a cover-up. Flashback, 18 years ago. A younger, Zura. Fresh general, leading 600 Traxxas soldiers into a mining colony believed to be controlled by human rebels. They expected old rifles. Instead, they found Project Revenant. 12 humans. In black, silent. They moved like ghosts. Within 10 minutes, 600 Traxxas soldiers were dead. Not captured, erased. Zura had been the only survivor, a mercy, they said. But she remembered the eyes of the one who spared her. Cold, tired, merciless. It wasn't Kai, but they were the same breed. Back in the present. "Revenants," she said aloud. "Earth built them to survive extinction." Her second-in-command stepped forward. "We should alert the Union, expose them." Zura turned sharply. "No, we don't warn anyone. We finish this our way." She tapped a panel. A file appeared. Operation Godfall, meanwhile, in Kai's cell. The AI woman returned, but this time her tone was serious. "They're activating something. Something off-world. It's not legal, it's not from this galaxy." Kai looked up. Tired but calm. "It's her final play." "What is she risking?" Kai looked toward the walls, almost seeing beyond them. Everything. Inside the Traxxas. Deep lab. A chamber sealed in void metal opened for the first time in 3,000 years. Inside it floated a crystal the size of a human heart, alive with black lightning, whispering in languages long dead. The scientists trembled. "This is not Traxxas. Technology," one muttered. Zura arrived, eyes locked on the crystal. "No, it's from before even our time, stolen from a dead world beyond the rim." "This is forbidden," the chief scientist warned. "This weapon doesn't obey control." Zura turned. "That's fine. I don't want control. I want chaos." "Why?" "Her," voice dropped. "Because fear isn't enough. I want them to remember." Back in Kai's mind, he stood in a memory again, his squad, laughing, eating rations. Mission complete. Then, the ambush, alien drones, explosions, screaming. He saw them all fall. He couldn't save them. He woke up, gasping. The AI was still there. "What did you see?" she asked. Kai didn't speak. He just stared at the wall, fists clenched. "They took everything," he finally said. "I'm going to take everything back." The next day, the arena was empty again, but not because of secrecy, because everyone was evacuating. The sky above Traxxas Prime was cracking, not physically, but through energy. A tear in reality, a rift. From it, a creature began to crawl through. Not metal, not flesh, something in between. It screamed in thoughts, not sound, and the ground itself twisted where it walked. Zura watched from her tower. "Kai, let's see your strength now." Inside the War Council, panic. "What did you do?" "That thing is consuming space-time. It's not stopping." Zura didn't blink. "It's not supposed to." "Then what if it reaches other worlds?" Zura smiled coldly. "Then the galaxy will finally beg for my order." Kai stood in front of the beast. His hands were glowing, not with a weapon, but with something older. He reached into his chest pocket and pulled out a small, round object, metallic, simple. A pendant. He pressed it to his heart. It activated. His eyes changed, his blood lit up, and somewhere in space, other humans woke up, revenants. Earth had received his signal. Meanwhile, on a hidden moon, a chamber of glass opened. 6 figures stepped forward. Black suits, glowing veins, human, but not ordinary. Each of them carried a code, not a name, just one mission. Protect Kai, protect Earth, burn everything else. In the arena, Kai took one step toward the creature. The wind bent around him. "You want chaos?" he whispered. His voice was no longer human. "Then meet the first storm." This isn't a trial anymore. The sky above Traxxas. Prime had split, not metaphorically, literally. A black rift floated high above the city, no stars behind it. Just a jagged tear into something the galaxy had tried to forget. Below, the arena was half destroyed. Sand twisted into strange glass. Gravity bent in sharp corners. And standing in the center of it all, Kai. His skin was glowing. Lines of light pulsed under his veins. His breath steamed even in the heat. The pendant on his chest had melted into his skin, fused with him. The creature in front of him howled again. No sound, just pressure, waves of hate, thoughts that didn't belong to any language. It wasn't a beast. It was a concept. Chaos, born into form. The crowd was gone. The Empire was gone. Zura watched from a safe chamber underground, screaming at her techs. Why isn't it attacking him? One of them stammered, It's afraid. Far above Traxxas in orbit. 6 ships arrived. No banners, no signals, no names. Each one silent, each one black. They came through dark space, places no map touched. Inside each ship, a revenant awake, hungry, angry. They didn't speak to one another. They didn't need to. They had one connection, Kai. In the ruins of the arena, the AI woman stepped beside Kai, but even she hesitated now. "Your readings are off the charts," she said quietly. "You're evolving faster than your design should allow." Kai looked at her, his voice lower, calmer. "I was built for extinction events." She stepped back. "What are you now?" Kai looked at the monster in front of him. It shivered. "The answer to extinction. Zura's underground chamber. Panic." "This isn't a weapon anymore," said a scientist. "It's a force. You've woken something that doesn't want to go back." Zura stared at the monster. "Then we make it ours." "We can't. It only listens to pain." Zura turned cold. "Then we give it the galaxy. Across the stars, civilizations watched, pirates, merchants, old kings of dead planets, and on Earth, the silent city under the ocean lit up. Code red, Alpha breach, and somewhere deep in the core of Earth's moon, a voice spoke. Not aloud, not in words, just 3 thoughts. Kai. Activated. Convergence. Begins. In the arena, the beast lunged. Reality cracked behind it, but Kai didn't move. Instead, he stepped forward and punched it. The creature flew backwards, screaming in shifting tones. Buildings cracked from the shockwave. Kai didn't chase. He waited. His eyes dimmed for a second. His body trembled. The power. It was still too much. His limiter had failed. His hands shook. And in that moment, he saw them again. His team. His squad. Dead. In the snow, their bodies frozen. "Don't let it happen again." A voice whispered in his mind. Kai closed his eyes. "I won't." The sky lit up. The revenants had landed. They dropped from their ships like comets, hitting the earth around the arena. Each one stood in silence. Kai turned. They nodded. No words. No greetings. Just purpose. They formed a ring around the arena. The creature hissed. The revenants moved. Together, they launched into battle. Meanwhile, the Galactic Union broadcast emergency codes. Evacuate Traxxas space. Unknown forces active. Class 0 combatants detected, but it was too late. Across 100 systems, people watched the feed from the arena. They saw the beast. They saw the revenants. They saw Kai standing, alone, in the center of the storm. And for the first time in galactic history, they feared humans. Zura, cornered and furious, made one final command. "Upload Godfall." "But General, do it!" Deep in her vault, the crystal pulsed, but now, it pulsed on its own. It didn't need orders anymore. It had learned, and it spoke back. "I choose. A new queen." Zura screamed as it burned into her skin. Her eyes turned black. Her veins turned silver. She laughed, but it wasn't her laugh anymore. The crystal had made its choice, and Zura was no longer in control. In the arena, Kai stopped moving. He looked toward the horizon, a new energy, dark, cold, intelligent. One word escaped his lips. Godfall. The revenant stopped. All eyes turned skyward. The AI woman whispered, "It's awake, isn't it?" Kai nodded, and it just chose its host. Zura? Kai's voice dropped. No, not anymore. He stared into the void. She's something else now. Across the stars, old things began to stir. Watchers, forgotten species, machines asleep for 10,000 years. All felt the ripple. Something ancient had returned, and only the revenants could stop it, or die trying. The human weapon. The stars blinked out, not all at once, but one by one, as if the sky was being erased. Above Traxxas Prime, the black rift had grown. It now reached across the upper atmosphere. Reality bent inward. Ships could no longer escape. Signals failed, and from that rip in space, Zura descended. But it wasn't Zura anymore. Her armor had fused with the crystal. Her body glowed with black light veins pulsing like a dying sun. A metallic crown hovered above her head, spinning with raw data. Her voice echoed without sound. I am the will of Godfall. This galaxy belongs to chaos. In the arena below, Kai stood still. His body was cracked with power. His veins burned like silver fire. His breath steamed in short, sharp bursts. The revenant stood behind him, waiting. The AI woman approached him one last time. You're not strong enough alone, she said quietly. She's connected to the old machines, the ones that eat stars. Kai didn't answer at first. He simply stared at the sky, watching the shape that once was Zura descend. I know, he said finally. Then he pulled something from his belt. A thin metal cylinder glowing softly. The AI stepped back. You're not serious. That's the core? Kai nodded. Earth's final protocol. It was never meant for war. Then what was it made for? Kai looked at the revenants. Us. Flashback. Years ago, deep beneath Earth's oceans, a secret facility. Rows of sleeping revenants. Scientists watched from above. One of them, old and tired, whispered, "We don't build weapons to kill. We build them to outlast. Present." Back on Traxxas, Kai inserted the cylinder into his chest plate. The light exploded. His body lit up with ancient Earth tech. Not just muscle, not just speed, but conscious control over energy itself. He wasn't just enhanced now. He was activated. His memories surged. Every mission, every loss, every time the galaxy laughed at humanity. He remembered it all, and then he rose, literally, into the air, his body floating in a calm sphere of light, untouched by the storm. Zura descended to meet him, wings of energy spread wide. Their eyes met. She grinned. Do you finally see, human? You're not the apex anymore. Kai stared at her with no fear. I was never the apex, he said. I was the warning. They collided, light and dark, past and future, old chaos versus new order. The arena didn't survive. Neither did half the planet, but still, they fought. Zura struck with power that melted moons. Kai moved like gravity bent around him. Every strike he took, he gave back tenfold. Their battle tore holes in the sky. Each revenant took position around the planet, forming a ring of light, feeding Kai energy from across the system. The AI guided them, connected to every brain, syncing them through the drift net. It was no longer a fight. It was a rewriting of physics. In the final blow, Zura screamed as the Godfall energy ripped out of her body, pulled by Kai's core field. She reached out, clawing at reality itself, but Kai held her still. He looked into her eyes, and for a moment, saw the fear she had once seen on Synther. She wasn't a queen. She was a child of war, broken and remade too many times. He didn't kill her. He simply let the godfall take her, and when it vanished, so did she. The sky cleared, the stars returned, the rift was gone. The arena shattered. Kai floated down. The revenants stood waiting. The AI walked forward. "It's over," she said. Kai shook his head. "No," he said. "It's just started." Across the galaxy, reactions poured in. Some cheered, some wept, some began preparing for war. Not against Earth, but because of it. They now understood. Humans didn't evolve to dominate. They evolved to survive the impossible, and when that survival was threatened, they became the impossible. Final scene. Earth, deep underground, a long chamber. More pods, more revenants. One screen blinked with a new command. Reactivation sequence complete. A voice from the shadows whispered, "Kai has opened the gate. The others will follow." Another voice, sharp and certain, answered, "Then we teach the stars who we really are."